Hi, fourth grade. We are going to do some more work with parallel and perpendicular lines today. So today we're going to start out discussing the definition of both of those terms. So the first term you're going to see is parallel. These are different images of parallel lines. And parallel lines are always the same distance apart from each other. So what that means is these lines that you're looking at, these lines that you're going to be looking at on this side are all parallel. For example, these two lines are always the same distance apart, always the same distance apart, always the same distance. And if I were to extend these lines, they would never intersect with each other. So I'm going to switch to my line tool and show you that if I extend these lines, they still never intersect with each other. That's what makes them parallel. These lines over here are not parallel lines because if I were to extend them, they would eventually intersect with each other. These are intersecting right here. Oops. These are all going to run into each other and intersect. The other type of line that we learned about besides parallel and not parallel were perpendicular lines. And if you remember, a perpendicular line looks like this. Looks like these over here. And they cross and form a specific type of angle. Perpendicular lines intersect at right angles. So when we're looking at our lines, we know that these are not parallel lines. These were not parallel, but do you think they're going to intersect at a 90-degree angle? No. Not these and not these, but we do see these lines right here. The way that they intersect, it forms a perfect 90-degree angle on either side. So those are perpendicular lines. So the next step is we're going to move down here and look at this diagram, and it's telling us to, sorry about that. It's telling us here that we should circle all examples of parallel lines. So what I am going to do is take a look, and if I look at these different examples, which of these look like they're parallel to me? I would say I don't think these are because I know they intersect with each other, or these because they intersect. These look like perpendicular lines to me, and I think that these two are going to intersect with each other as well. So I think the only ones that I can identify as parallel are these, and these, and these. And then it asks me, how do you know that the figures you circled are examples of parallel lines? Remember when we said you can check because if you were to extend the lines, they would never intersect with each other? I think that's true for all of these sets of lines. So I'm going to write if I extend the lines, they won't intersect, and they have the same distance between them. The next thing that it asks me to do, if I scroll down, is draw two examples of parallel lines. So I'm going to draw an example in orange. Actually, I should use the line sign. And I'm going to draw an example in blue. Oops. And I know that if I were to extend these lines, they would not intersect with each other. Then then it asks me to draw two examples of lines that are not parallel. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw some lines that are definitely going to intersect with each other. And then you can even draw lines like this that aren't intersecting yet, but we know that they're going to intersect with each other. And the last step on this page is it asks me to write a definition of parallel lines, and I jumped ahead and wrote that for us. They are two lines that will never cross because they are the same distance apart, very similar to what we wrote up here. So the next thing that we're going to talk about today is sorting triangles. And there are a couple different ways that you can sort triangles. And the first ones that we are going to talk about are you can group triangles by the size of their angles. So what that means is our first triangles, we're going to group our acute triangles over here. And acute triangles have all three angles are acute. All three of your angles are going to be acute or less than 90 degrees, right? So this, and this, and this, and this, and this are all less than 90 degrees. The other way that we can group triangles according to their size of their angles is with right triangles. And on a right triangle, only one angle is a right triangle. So we have that here, here, and here, what that perfect square tells us. The last way to group triangles by their angles is with obtuse triangles. And on obtuse triangles, you have one angle is an obtuse. Only one of them is going to be obtuse. This is the obtuse angle, this is the obtuse angle, and this is the obtuse angle. So only one of those is going to be obtuse in the obtuse angle. So the other way that you can group triangles is by looking at the lengths of their sides. So when we're looking at the different lengths of their sides, we have three ways that we can evaluate the triangle. The first way is equilateral triangles. And if you look, the word equal is in there, spelled a little differently, but it still says equal. And it tells us that all the three sides are the same length. So these three sides are all equal to each other, these three are all equal to each other, and these three are all equal to each other. The next way that we can organize them by the lengths of their sides are isosceles triangles. And with isosceles triangles, we have two sides are the same length. So these two are the same length, these two are the same length, and these two are the same length. And the last we have is a scalene triangle. And with a scalene triangle, no sides are the same length. So if you look at those, all of the sides have a different measurement. None of them are equal to each other. So today we will be focusing on triangles as well as parallel and perpendicular lines today.